Today on America's Court with Judge Ross.
You're saying that she wasn't around in terms of years went by before she visited her mother?
She would rarely come around.
How often?
Maybe once a year, maybe.
No, Your Honor, that is incorrect.
In my courtroom, it's about equity and fairness. You want him to pay $628?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, knock my socks off. Justice should be more than just some foreign concept. I actually want you to learn something. The law talks about something may in fact be true, but can they prove it? And that's what's tough.
Fair, firm, compassionate. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Caregiver Cheryl Brown is suing her client's daughter for the return of a ring valued at $1,000. Christine Williams says the ring is a family heirloom and the plaintiff has no right to it.
All rise. Remain standing and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
All parties been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Deputy Thomas. Ms. Williams, you have a ring, I understand, that Ms. Brown feels belongs to her, that actually your mother was the owner of that ring, correct?
That's correct.
And now your mom is deceased.
Yes.
I'm sorry to hear that. The two of you are fighting over this ring. What's going on?
Well, Your Honor, I was a caregiver for her for over 10 years.
Ms. Williams' mom?
Yes, Miriam.
Mm-hmm.
And until she passed away, unfortunately. And
were you a paid caregiver for her?
Yes. Right. Yes, I was.
Who employed you? Did Ms. Williams do that, or did the mom employ you?
Her mother employed me.
All right.
Miriam did.
And what was the relationship, Ms. Williams, with Ms. Brown and your mom?
Their relationship was very good as far as her being a caregiver. We entrusted Cheryl to take care of her for over 10 years now. And so since I'm being promoted to a top executive position in a major corporation, I didn't have the time to spend with her on a day-to-day basis. Right. And so Cheryl has been there for her. Are you the only child,
or were there other siblings?
Yes, I'm the only sibling.
All right. You had work commitments that would prevent you from giving your mom the type of care she needed.
Yes, unfortunately, that's the truth.
All right. Let's talk about this ring.
So like I said, I was her caregiver for over 10 years, and she was more than just, somebody that I fed and bathed and clothed.
You had a relationship with her?
Yes, we had a relationship, and my mother passed away years ago. She was more like a mother to me, and I was more like a daughter to her.
Miss Williams' mom was more like a mother to you than your own mother?
Right.
Got it.
Because I didn't have my mother around.
Okay. And Miss Williams, the issue with this ring.
Yes.
Why is it so important that you keep the ring as opposed to Miss Brown?
Well, Your Honor, this ring has been passed down through my family. It's an heirloom. It was passed down.
It's a generational piece of jewelry.
Yes, from my great-grandmother, grandmother, and then my mother. And then it was passed down to me.
Had you had any conversations with your mom about the ring, or was this her only piece of jewelry? Did she have other items?
She had a whole jewelry box full of items
trinkets
that
and so forth.
Were left to me because I'm the only surviving child. So,
right, so you're the heir of all the items.
Right, exactly. And so naturally it was to be passed down to me, and we had talked about the ring over the years.
The reason why I asked that is because there are clearly other baubles, necklaces, rings,
right,
etc., that you also have in your possession.
This really had a special sentimental value.
Why this particular ring? Because of the generational issue?
Yes, and also I feel a connection when I wear it. To me, this ring brought a spiritual connection to my great-grandmother, my grandmother, and my mother through it.
Why is the ring so important to you?
Your Honor, she actually gave me the ring.
She being Miss Williams' mom?
Yes, Miriam gave me the ring. And it's the only thing that I would even have of her, of memories of her. I mean, we have...
How did that come about, that you ended up being under the impression that this was given to you?
She actually gave it to me herself.
She physically handed it to you?
Yes. We were in the living room, and we were watching our favorite soap together, like we normally do. We always watch the soaps together.
Yes.
And I was telling her that I was going to go on my trip in a couple of days, and I just told her that even though I'm going to be gone for 5 days, I'm still going to miss her. I mean, because she's like a mother to me, and I'm going to be thinking about her, and I'm going to be worried. And even though Christine was going to be there to take care of her, knowing that she hadn't really been around all these years, it just kind of worried me.
Who hadn't been around all these years?
Christine hadn't been around.
That is not true. It's not true.
What makes you say, you're saying that she wasn't around in terms of years went by before she visited her mother?
She would rarely come around.
How often?
Maybe once a year, maybe.
No, Your Honor, that is incorrect.
Coming up on America's Court.
Were there any conversations about you and Miss Williams' mom about her daughter?
All the time. She almost spoke of her like she was, a relative who passed away.
Closed captioning provided by. If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Cheryl Brown, who is suing Christine Williams for the return of a ring valued at $1,000.
How far in proximity did you live from your mom?
About an hour away.
And over the course of a year, was she an invalid? Was she able to get out? Was she able to travel?
She had a heart condition, and she had an oxygen tank as well. And, she needed someone to be in the home with her.
How often did you talk to her on the phone?
Pardon?
How often did you talk to her on the phone?
I talked to her at least once or twice a week.
That's not true either, Your Honor.
Yes,
not at least once or twice a week. I would say once every 3 months.
I would call her.
Were there any conversations about you and Miss Williams' mom about her daughter?
All the time. She almost spoke of her like she was, a relative who passed away. I mean, she just, almost like I felt she called me her daughter. She said that I was the daughter that she never had, that Christine wasn't around a lot, that she was more married to her career than anything else, and that she'd really wish she would spend a little more time with her, knowing that she had this condition and that she couldn't leave.
Miss Williams, was there any conversations when you talked to your mom once or twice a week concerning Miss Brown with your mom?
Well, I mean, she did like her, and we, had discussions about her. But mainly when I went over there to see her, they were inseparable. I just let them do things, and I would do things around the house or whatever. When I went over there and I visited my mom.
When you're going to visit your mom every month, knowing that Miss Brown had been there for 10 years, you get to the location of your mom, and then you just kind of do other things, although you're only seeing her once a month?
Well, I see that they have a special connection, and I don't particularly, I'm not fond of that, but, because I wanted to spend time with my mother. But they may be in the middle of something when I went in, they might have been in the middle of lunch or doing something.
12 times you would come a year.
I came more than 12 times.
Definitely not more than that.
That is not true.
You are
Once every 3
saying that
months.
you sometimes felt like you were being an intruder because of their relationship.
Yes, I knew there was a closeness developed over the years, and that I was kind of viewed as the absentee daughter, the absent daughter. But
who viewed you as the absentee daughter?
Well, I sensed it myself, and I just kind of sensed it.
From your mom?
Happening. Somewhat. We would have discussions. My mom and I would get in little tit-tats once in a while, just over little things, and she wanted to spend more time with me. And honestly, I felt bad that I couldn't. Now I look back and I regret I didn't spend enough time with her, Cheryl.
When you went to Hawaii, did you have the ring in your possession?
No, Your Honor.
Why not?
When she gave me the ring, I did have it on, but the day that I left for my trip, I went into the bathroom to wash my hands, and I took it off, and I put it on the left side of the sink, which is where I usually put my jewelry when I take it off to wash my hands, and it was the only ring that I had on that day, and I heard them arguing in the kitchen.
Miss Williams and her mom?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
And I heard Christine and Miriam arguing in the kitchen, and I just kind of dried my hands real quick, and I rushed in there to see what they were arguing about, which was the usual. They were usually arguing about Christine not being around, or Christine not knowing what was going on in her mother's life.
And then you leave at some point?
Well, first I tried to diffuse the situation, and as I usually do, I usually try to calm both of them down and just, say that she should just understand that Christine was going to be there.
And at some point you leave?
Yes, I
And
left
you-
for my flight.
And you left on the flight, and you left the ring behind.
Yes, but not before I left instructions for Christine on where everything was located and her
Got it.
pills. And
Now you're in Hawaii. You are with your mom. What happens?
2 days after Cheryl left for her trip, Mom did pass away. She was grasping for
2
air.
days from the time she's already in Hawaii.
Yes, she's in Hawaii. 2
Right.
days have passed, and I'm supposed to be there 5 days, right? Caretaking her. And anyhow, the second day she passed, I was preparing lunch and everything, and it was just so hard. It was hard for me because I just had so much on my mind.
I understand.
And
then and there was a funeral, and how do we get to a point where there's a misunderstanding or not a clear realization that this ring belongs to someone? Because she didn't put it in writing, she just said you can have it.
yes, Your Honor.
But it's a part of the estate, and it was still in the property when you saw it.
yes, what
Where
happened?
did you find it?
In the bathroom upstairs on the left-hand side of the sink. And I recognized the ring right away because my mother wears it a lot.
Right.
And
once Ms. Brown told you that the reason that it was in the bathroom was because your mom had given it to her, and
Well,
she had taken...
at that- I'm
finished
sorry.
with the question.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Once she conveyed that to you and said, your mom gave me the ring, and I left it in the bathroom, but I was supposed to take it with me, what was your response to that?
Your Honor, this was once she came back from Hawaii, she stopped in. And that's when
And
she found
you
out my
said-
mother had passed.
And you said to her in
And I said to
response,
her it was a family heirloom. I just put it back in my mom's jewelry box. I didn't know she had given it to you. It wasn't in the will. Everything was willed to me. So naturally, it's passed on to me. And I didn't want to give her something that was sentimental to me.
stop. That's the issue.
Coming up on America's Court.
It's mine.
You've already told
It's
me
my
that.
ring.
You've already told me that.
I know, Your Honor.
Because
but
what you're trying to do is you're trying to convince yourself that your position is legitimate.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Cheryl Brown, who is suing Christine Williams for the return of a ring valued at $1,000.
You know what's happening here? And I see it happen all the time when people die. For some reason, people feel like, I don't have to honor this person's request. They're gone now. It's all about me. I see it happen, and families get torn apart, siblings,
But
because
my mom promised it to me. It's my ring. Now, I would have given her anything else, but this ring had special value to me. It's a spiritual connection, and my grandmother passed it down to my mother, and it's mine.
You've already told
It's
me
my
that.
ring.
You've already told me that.
I know, Your Honor.
Because
but
what you're trying to do is you're trying to convince yourself that your position is legitimate because you're making it about you. And all I'm saying is, I don't know your mom. But I know that if I wanted my wishes to be honored, I would at least hope that my children would honor my request as opposed to honoring their request. So the question becomes, what does a court do in a situation where you don't have any rights via probate, because if there was nothing in writing, and I can't override a probate court because you're suing for either the value of something that I don't have any proof other than your testimony against probate, which lists in writing all the items of the estate.
Coming up on America's Court.
I sent her a thank you card while I was in Hawaii, and it was marked return to sender, which was another reason I was pretty upset.
Did you return it back to her?
Yes, I did. Your
Why did you
Honor.
do that?
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Cheryl Brown, who is suing Christine Williams for the return of a ring valued at $1,000.
If I have something that's oral, and then I have something in writing, which obviously the estate would have a delineated list of her property, all her belongings. Which do you think has more weight?
Obviously the written, Your Honor.
Written.
But I do have something in writing.
Okay, I'll take a look at that.
I sent her a thank you card while I was in Hawaii, and it was marked return to sender, which was another reason I was pretty upset. I found it at home, marked return to sender, after I went to Miriam's house
And
and
it's
found
still
out she
sealed.
passed.
Did you return it back to her?
Yes, I did. Your
Why did you
Honor.
do that?
Well, basically, all the mail that came to my mother's house, I was in a frantic pace trying to get everything done and cleaned up and taken care of, and all her
All
affairs.
right, so this
in life.
occurred, you
So I
sent
sent it back
this
to
date
whoever-
stamp October 30th.
Yes, Your
Did your mom die sometime in November?
Well, she had died the 2 days after she left, and she had mailed a card.
Okay,
Well, I'm
it's a
not
thank you card.
familiar with the
Dear
date
Miriam,
exactly.
greetings from Hawaii. It's beautiful here. I've been at the beach every day. I went to Pearl Harbor. Can't wait to tell you about my adventures. I want to thank you for your kindness and generosity. I can't wait to see you soon. Love, Cheryl. There's no mention of the ring.
I didn't feel like I needed to mention the ring, Your Honor. I think I pretty much figured she'd know what I was talking about, sending her the card. She knew I was thankful for her kindness and generosity in general, but I wanted to send her the card as a special thank you for giving me the ring.
See, the inference is you don't send a thank you card unless you're acknowledging something that you just got. Right? Otherwise, you would just say, greetings from Hawaii. Right? The problem is there's no mention of the ring.
Judge Ross's verdict when America's Court returns. You're watching America's Court with Judge Ross. This is America's Court with Judge Ross.
Based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel must come down in favor of the defendant. Because had she not left a will, we still have the issue of the next heir. She would be entitled to everything. That we have a will that I don't have any reason to believe, although I haven't seen the will, but either way, with a will or without, the heir is the next in line. Now, having said that, you're not going to have peace with that ring. You're
Your
not
Honor,
going to
I
have
love
peace
this
with that
ring.
ring. You are not going to have peace with that ring. And the reason why I say that is I'm a firm believer in karma. And I'm a firm believer in respecting people's wishes. And even though
Your
I
Honor.
can't, in a court of law, based on the evidence that I have here, I can't just go on my gut. But if I had to just go on my gut, you really need to think hard and long about considering giving her that. Your matter's dismissed. Case closed.
All rise.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case has been denied.
I'm glad the judge made the right decision. We're keeping the ring in the family where it belongs.
That ring was the only thing I had left of hers to cherish. I guess I'll just have to live with my memories.
Follow America's Court on Facebook and Twitter. This has been a production of Entertainment Studio.